Hey, Tony. Happy Thursday to you too. 3 people in the stream already. Wait. I just need to go and share. Just to say, if they want to come in, they can come in. If they don't want to come in, they don't have to. But come say hi in the chat. Let me know who's in. Got 3 people there. 1 person said hi. Ooh. See, Christine Lagarde's back in the news again today. Dodge Tosi back in moto. Woof to you too. How are you today? Twiggy, you got in early today. How are you doing how's Portugal? What are we on? Middle of September. Still warm? I would imagine. Still warm. Shared on Twitter. A couple of the couple of the people. And very hot in Portugal, good weather. We don't have very good weather here. It's I've even closed the doors because it's not actually that warm. While we're just coming in, hold on a minute. Let me close the window. I absolutely hate moths. I cannot stop it. I cannot stand moths. And if the windows are open and the lights are on, they come in. No, I just don't like them. I don't mind spiders. I don't mind any sort of creepy crawlies, but moths just freak me right out completely. Don't like them at all. But yeah. So where were we? We had another 2-hour run last night. I'm not doing 2 hours again tonight because I went down the road and got myself a bottle of wine because my mum wanted some Reiki, and basically Darcy XRP. Hey. And basically what I did was I spent a couple of hours doing some Reiki on her last night because she's got some problems with her shoulder. Francisco Gonzalez, how are you? And XRP Hilton's in the house. So yeah, so I did some. I find it easier to do Reiki when I've had a little bit to drink. I think part of that is because of the I don't know. My defences are down a bit, and I'm not quite so uptight. I just find it easier, flows easier for Reiki when I've had a little bit to drink. So I had a couple of glasses of wine, and did that. But it meant that I went to bed at I actually finished here doing this around about 10, and then went down the road, came back, and did that with my mum until about 11:30. So I actually got to bed about 12 in the end. So I'm knackered today, but knackered in a good way because I've been to the gym and done all the bits and pieces. So yes, but yeah, I was inspired to do some sort of deep meditation. Did some Reiki on my mum, and allowed it to flow, and it actually I'd had a really good night's sleep, and it made me feel a bit more connected, a lot more grounded, I think is the word. So that was pretty damn good. Also means that I haven't had a chance to do much research today, but I have seen that Christine Lagarde's been on Twitter quite a lot. She's been doing an awful lot of talking about the quantum financial system. Well, she doesn't call it that, but the system and the way that the financial reset she mentions, and yeah, it's interesting to see that they turned around and said that when Christine Lagarde becomes more to the forefront, then keep an eye on, because that means that things are ramping up, which is necessary because you've got an awful lot of people that are getting a little bit pissed off with the news at the moment, even to the point where you know, people that are diehards, diehard XRPers are literally just second guessing themselves now. And I'm like, well, you know, we've held this long. What's, you know, just keep the faith. It's we know that it's going to do something. So it's not that it's not going to happen. It's just a case of it's not going to happen in a timescale that we want it to happen in. So yeah, that's I know that it's hard because everything, I mean, pretty much my whole portfolio has dropped considerably, and my play portfolio is 30% down, every single one of them, apart from BNB. What happened to that? That actually went up. That was down quite. That's been down for quite some time, and that actually went up into the green all on its own, which was quite nice. Anybody done anything amazingly sound today? Because, you know, I've heard seen a lot of posts about people jumping into different coins and doing quite well. Hi, Triple Moon. But basically, I mean, I the only thing I was listening to today was about Dogmen, and the because, you know, I did the Sasquatch stuff yesterday. Well, somebody in the Infinite Wisdom sent me the stuff on Dogmen. So Mega Markla, sorry. How are you doing? So yeah, so I did a bit of a dive into that, and so I've quite happily seen some bits of information. It's all to do with the manipulation of DNA that they've been doing, but we knew that was happening anyway because of the think about it, all of the scientists that got brought over to America after the Nazi after the Second World War. They were brought over for a reason. I mean, there's no two ways about it. You know, the sorts of things that they were looking at doing during the Second World War and what they were doing in those camps. I got Hollow and Wink very cheap. I win very good with these coins. XRP just in 2023. Yeah, I've heard 2022, 2023 is a good time scale for XRP. I'll tell you what I was surprised about. I don't know whether anybody caught on to it, but there's you know, the draconian measures that they're doing over in Canada about sort of wearing a mask and all of the different rules and regulations they're bringing in to I don't know, to keep people compliant. And then I saw a thing on Twitter. One of the airlines, there was somebody who had a 19-month-old child and a 3-year-old child on a flight, and they weren't wearing masks. So on comes the police, and basically threatened the parents. So they put a mask on the 3-year-old, but refused to put it on the 19 months old, because under 2 years they don't actually have to wear a mask. Because here's a fun fact for you, and it's not quite so fun. If you wear a mask under 2 years old, that child can suffocate. They can actually suffocate. But yeah, and then the draconian airline, WestJet, basically chucked everybody off the plane and cancelled the flight. Talk about, you know, it's like a shaming measure, and that's a really, really too far. But I've seen a lot of pushback against it. A lot of people have turned around and said, I'm never going to fly you again. What they're doing also at the moment is they're saying, oh, you know, you've got some extra forms to fill in before you can fly with us, because we're doing track and trace. And everyone's going, hold on a minute, why would we need to fill in more forms? You've got our details on the ticket to buy the ticket. So so why would you need that to do? And I've actually messaged them and I've said, well, what about people that are exempt from wearing masks? Are you going to make them wear a mask? Really? Mega Markler says, I'm good. Hot and very smoky here. Didn't realise you had a channel until I saw your link on the Telegram. There she is, North Carolina Hawkins. How are you, chick? That's a good price, Twiggy. That's a really good price. I bought my hollow. Let's have a. I bought my hollow a while ago. Oh, nice to see that portfolios have actually gone up a little bit. Hollow is up. Oh yeah, I'm up 3%. Fine. I bought mine in at 0.00053. 0.000446. So you've got a really good deal. So North Carolina Hawkins is in Hawaii. That is on my bucket list. That is somewhere I really want to go. Triple Moon says, this stuff is so depressing. It's hard to stay on top of it because I get sick to my stomach. What's the best exchange to buy? AGI, Dogecoin, and Digi. Digibuy, I think. Digibuy, I got onto. Bitrue and Qcoin. Digibuy, Doge, and AGI. AGI, Singularity Net. You can get that on Binance, Qcoin, Bitfinex, HitBTC, P2P, IDEX, and Finex. Finex. But yeah, the two main ones there are Binance and Qcoin. So I don't know if you've got accounts with them. And then the Dogecoin, Binance, Huobi, OKEx, ZB.com, Upbit, ZBG, Bitmax, LBank, HitBTC, Big One, CoinTiger, Tiger even, Hotbit, Bitforex, Gate.io, P2P, B2B, and Yobit, Digifinex, never heard of that one, and Bittrex. There's quite a few actually. Trying, I have 3 accounts already, wish there was just one. Oh, don't talk to me about accounts. I've done a really bad, stupid thing yesterday. Okay, go through and make sure that wherever you store your seeds for all these different exchanges, wallets, and everything like that, make sure that you have a backup, because mine is corrupt. So I went onto Coinbase wallet and put over my Ampleforth so that I could stake it. So I copied over the address and I sent it across, and I logged back in to go and check to make sure it arrived. And it asked me for my seeds, went into my document, and it's corrupted. In fact, the 6-page document that it was, because I keep all the information, it's all offline and things like that. It's not online at all. But yeah, I went in and 3 pages. So I've lost 3 pages worth of seeds and things like that. So I'm going to have to go through every single exchange and make sure that I've got, and then I need to make sure I've got a backup, probably a paper backup, because I can't get into my Coinbase wallet. So I got in touch with Qcoin and asked them if they could stop the transaction. They said no, it's done. They said contact the support. So I got in touch with Coinbase wallet, and they basically turned and said, no, sorry, can't do anything. If you haven't got your seeds, then you've lost it. So I'm like, no, because it's there. You know, my Coinbase wallet is sitting by the side of my Coinbase account. It's got the same email address. You know it's mine. And they're saying, oh, we can't do anything with it. And I said, yeah, you can. You made the wallet itself. You didn't make it so that you can't touch it. Not a damn. Nobody would actually do that. So yeah, it's I'm a bit sick to my stomach at the moment, but I'll keep on fighting. And do you know what? Worst case scenario, Steve Willits, hello, how are you? Worst case scenario is I'll appeal for a hacker, and then I will actually let the hacker have my ample for hacking into my Coinbase account and let me have it back. I think I've got £3 worth of Ethereum on it, but it's not the point. I don't mind losing that. And I will actively encourage a hacker to go in and open my account for me. And the trouble is, if I do that, then Coinbase wallet then becomes a hackable thing. And I'm perfectly happy to allow that to happen. Because these people, they just basically, they put their hands up and go, oh no, there's nothing we can do about it. Really? It's my account. It's my KuCoin account. It's my Coinbase account. It's my Coinbase wallet. If I move between one and the other, you're not telling me that that can't be accessed, reversed, whatever. Because I've sent I've sent stuff to Bitrue on the wrong tag on XRP, and they've managed to put it right. So I know for a fact that they can put it right. And it's just it's just them actually not giving good customer service. So watch this space, because if I have to, I'm going to do another rant video, and it's going to be called Coinbase. So you're warned, Coinbase, because if I start, I really will. Darcy B said, did you see the video where citizens in Canada are asking the government to stand down for bringing in these rules, which they cannot do? It's only 3 minutes long, explained. No, Darcy, have you got me on? You've got me on Twitter. Send it through. I'll play it on here. Because that's the sort of thing that needs to be. I mean, it's Red Viper actually put up the video, and basically there's so many people that responded to it. So if you go to redwins3_first, FIRST, it's called Red Viper 2.0 2020. But he put up the video of the airline, and basically that just, it boiled my blood, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, Darcy, if you've got it, send it through to me and I'll play it on here. One exchange, yes. I mean, basically, there are going to be exchanges out there. I mean, I looked at the Coinbase wallet when I was doing my thing to move the ample over, and they've got so many different coins on there that they don't actually have on their exchange, but they have a wallet for it, which I was quite impressed with the amount of different coins that you could put into that wallet. But it just shows you how fragile the system is. If they can't then, especially because I'm AML'd, I've done my anti-money laundering, they know who I am, I've proven who I am, right? They've got a Coinbase account that's linked to my bank account, and the Coinbase wallet runs alongside it. So there's no reason for them not to be able to do something with it. Okay. Right, so this is from Darcy. Tell me if you can hear this okay.
Hello, this is Kevin Ann at Eagle Strong Voice. It's August 31st with a breaking news announcement, a sequel to our historic announcement that the COVID regulations have been nullified and outlawed by common law people's assemblies on the west coast of Canada. And here's the update. In an historic act of direct democracy, people's assemblies on Vancouver Island have called upon civil and police authorities to stand down from enforcing COVID regulations or be charged with partaking in a criminal conspiracy against the health and the liberty of the people. Earlier this week, the same assemblies defied COVID regulations by issuing a public safety bylaw that outlaws social distancing, quarantining, masking, and mandatory vaccinations as unhealthy, unlawful, and unwarranted measures. Under this law, anyone who tries to impose COVID regulations can face imprisonment and fines within common law courts established by these assemblies. Now, these bylaws and orders were issued by two assemblies in Parksville and Victoria, British Columbia. And they set the pattern across Canada. Now, People in over 90 Canadian communities have come forward and asked for help in setting up the same assemblies so similar bylaws banning the COVID restrictions can be passed. Now, the thing to remember about this latest announcement is it's actually telling the authorities to stand down. That is, we're not simply doing this as a defensive action. We're going on the offensive against these tyrannical powers and saying, you will not operate anymore according to the way you've been going up till now. This, in short, is a declaration of independence from the system. We are taking the power back. We, the people, are establishing the laws and the jurisdiction. To quote John St. John, a founder of the Parksville Common Law Assembly, we've drawn a line and told the government that enough is enough. When the system becomes lawless, it's up to the people to reestablish justice. We're calling on the police to enforce this bylaw, or we will. And Fiona Yaki of the Victoria Assembly reiterated his statement when she said, we've made history by putting power back into the hands of the people. We call on all Canadians to use that power by forming their own common law assemblies and reclaiming our nation. News of these actions have spread like wildfire around Canada and the world, prompting hundreds of Canadians to come forward to volunteer for this movement to establish the common law republic. And this resistance is now being coordinated and led by a national council of common law assemblies, whose aim is to establish a sovereign republic in Canada. Now, you can write for more information to the Council of Assemblies at protonmail.com. You can contact the different assemblies through republicofcanada@gmail.com. And you can also listen to a recent interview with two of these leaders of the assemblies describing how they brought in these bylaws at bbsradio.com/Here We Stand, the August 30th interview that's posted there just now. Well, to reiterate, it's now up to us to take the offensive against the system that will imprison our children, that will force mandatory vaccinations and other genocidal measures on us. We are telling the authorities to stand down. We're doing it through our common law assemblies, and we're going to enforce it with our common law sheriffs and courts. Stay tuned for more updates. This is Kevin Annett, Eagle Strong Voice, republicofcanada.ca. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. That's a game changer. That is an absolute game changer. This is what needs to actually physically happen, because what they've done is they and it's starting in America as well. Unfortunately, well, we're a little bit more apathetic here in the UK, but the draconian measures that are being applied to the Australians, I mean, they are above and beyond. I mean, the stuff that they are doing is ridiculous. It's probably, and it's countrywide. Do I have a link to that? Which Telegram channel are you in? Meghan Markler. And then what I'll do is I will, Lady Enigma, how are you doing, honey? Just want to stop by and say hi, Crypto Boo Boo, and everyone in the chat. Much love. Is somebody else on live then? Typical. Mike's. Okay, hold on. Let me copy link to tweet. I will go and put that in the Telegram channel for Mike. Right. Listen to that. Right, I've put that up. So basically, yeah. It's one of those it's one of those situations. I am doing really well, actually. Yes. Yeah, I'm feeling very positive. Done some Reiki yesterday. You missed that bit at the beginning. After the chat. I also had a bottle of wine, so that always makes me feel good the day after. Don't ask. It's the Irish in me, you know. I run better when I have alcohol in the system. So yes, so that's what people need to do. I mean, what they've done there is the same as that lady that I think I showed it the other night, where she literally, or I told you about it, where she literally, you are served, and she's taking them to court for overstepping their jurisdictional limits. And that's what this guy is doing. This guy is literally turning around and saying, you've overstepped. If you try and this is in his area, so other areas need to do exactly the same thing. They set up the bylaws to turn around and say that all of this stuff that's coming out of the government is illegal, and is against the bylaws for the actual state that they're in. So what that means, and I need to listen to it properly and do it again so that I properly understand it. But my interpretation of that, just from what I've just heard, because I haven't heard it before, is that if each individual state sets that as a bylaw, then there's no enforcement that can actually physically happen. And that is an amazing thing, right? And that's what needs to happen. Now, in the UK, England can do it, Ireland can do it, Scotland can do it, and Wales can do it, right? So it wouldn't be a regional thing, because we've got counties, but they don't actually, I suppose, different councils, but there's so many different, there's 600 odd councils in the UK, as small as we are. You wouldn't believe it, would you? And that's just in England. No, that's England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, I think. Yeah, 600 odd MPs in the Houses of Parliament. So you'd need to have 600 bylaws for each individual ward for it to physically be put in place. But we aren't enforcing here, right? The police do not enforce yet. I had this conversation with a policeman a couple of weeks on a Sunday ago. And I turned and said to him, what are you going to do when the government turns around and says to you that you've got to go into people's houses, drag them out and enforce a vaccination? And he said, it's not going to come to that. And I said, we didn't think it was going to come to that with the mask. And they've done it anyway. And there's no reason for us to have a mask. In fact, I've been sharing a picture that I nabbed from somebody else that put it up on Twitter. And it basically, it goes through all the different places that have come up against and given the reasons why, and give the reasons why masks are bad for you. Thanks, Lady Enigma. I went to the gym today, and I actually washed my hair. I only wash my hair infrequently because it's so long. I mean, it literally is. It's down my back. But yeah, guys don't want to hear about things like that. So basically what it does, face masks are pure bullshit. Here's why, right? Go that way. I haven't got my glasses with me. Preliminary report on surgical mask induced deoxygenation. I forgot. Deoxygenation. No, I can't even say it. I haven't even had a drink. Deoxygenation during major surgery. Our study revealed a decrease in the oxygen saturation of arterial pulsations. So that means somebody who is, ventilators do kill, especially with this. They were killing people. They crippled people. You've got people that come up and turn around and say, oh, well, you know, if you get COVID, then you're shooting your lungs. No, you get a chest infection, right, that goes down on the lungs. Hi, Farshad. And now basically if they put you onto a ventilator, then they will destroy your lungs because it's not helping you. It's actually hindering you. And you don't need to go on a respirator or a ventilator. So it's one of those things that really does need to be held accountable, because when they're doing these things, they're adding to the problem, and then they're putting it up and saying, well, look at these people. They've come out with heart problems. They've come out with lung problems. Well, hold on a minute. You put somebody on a ventilator that doesn't need it, right? Apart from the fact it probably will kill them. If they do survive, then when they come out, they're going to be severely compromised. You know, it destroys your lungs. So basically, that was one. That's the Journal of Neurosurgery. New England Journal of Medicine says we know that wearing a mask outside healthcare facilities offers little, if any, protection from infection. The Annals of Internal Medicine says both surgical and cotton masks seem to be ineffective in preventing the dissemination of SARS-CoV-2 from the coughs of patients with COVID-19 to the environment and external mask surface. In other words, it doesn't work. Journal Headache. Most healthcare workers develop de novo PPE, such as N95 face mask, associated headaches or exacerbation of their pre-existing headache disorders. In other words, the lack of oxygen gives you headaches. Journal of Life and Environmental Sciences says this study showed that the filtering efficiency of cloth face masks were relatively lower, and washing and drying practices deteriorated the efficiency. And then the Journal of Influenza and Other Respiratory Viruses said none of the studies established a conclusive relationship between mask respirator use and protection against influenza infection. Journal of Epidemiology and Infection said there's little evidence to support effectively face masks to reduce the risk of infection. The Journal of American Medical Association came out and said face masks should not be worn by healthy individuals to protect themselves from acquiring respiratory infection because there is no evidence to suggest that face masks worn by healthy individuals are effective in preventing people from becoming ill. University of Edinburgh says conversely, surgical and handmade masks and face shields generate sufficient leakage jets that have the potential to disperse virus-laden fluid particles by several meters. The different nature of these masks and shields makes the direction of these jets difficult to be predicted, but the directionality of these jets should be the main design consideration for these covers. They all showed an intense backward jet for heavy breathing and coughing conditions. It is important to be aware of this jet to avoid a false sense of security that may arise when standing to the side of or behind a person wearing a surgical or handmade mask or shield, right? But what they're saying there is that the masks themselves make you cough. Respiratory acidosis. Respiratory acidosis develops when air inhaled into and exhaled from the lungs does not get adequately exchanged between the carbon dioxide from the body and oxygen from the air, which wearing a mask over the front of it actually does. And then the British Medical Journal, which is the top one for the UK, laboratory confirmed virus was significantly higher in the cloth masks group. Penetration of cloth masks by particles was almost 97%. This study is the first RCT of cloth masks, and the results caution against the use of cloth masks. Moisture retention, reuse of cloth mask, and poor filtration may result in an increased risk of infection, right? Apart from anything else, what it also does is it can cause you to get pneumonia, bacterial infections into their lungs. Children are coming out with massive sequelae like herpes because the bacterial infection on their face. And it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And people are having to wear it in shops for 8 hours. And that's a paper mask or a cloth mask. All that's going to do is reduce your natural immune system and make you ill because you're breathing it back into your body. You expel toxins. Every time that you breathe out, you expel toxins from your body. That's the whole point of it, right? And those toxins can travel to other people and then in minute quantities actually helps their immune system. Standing 6 feet away from them, never going to happen. Compromised immunity because you're not actually, and the other thing is you're constantly washing your hands, wearing the mask, going into sterile, bacterial, cleansed areas, right? What you need to do is as soon as you get out of a shop, go and find yourself some earth, put your hands in the earth and then rub your face because you need that bacteria and you need that stuff in your body to continuously challenge your immune system so that it's working constantly. if you don't do that, if you're in a sterile environment, then as soon as you get hit with a bacteria, an infection, a cold, right, it's going to hit you worse than than ever before. So what we're doing is we're going into flu season with people wearing masks that are going to be they're compromised. Their immune system is compromised, and that's what they're doing because they're hoping that that's going to, because they're saying it now. Oh, we've got a load of people that's actually tested positive. Well, of course they're tested positive, right? Because you're not testing properly. You haven't identified. What they're doing is they're saying, and this is the truth. What they're doing is they're checking for exosomes or whatever it is. So what they're doing is they're going in, they're doing a swab, and then they're blowing it up, blowing it up, blowing it up, blowing it up until they can see it. And they say, oh yeah, that person's they're fighting something that's got COVID, right? But the fact is, it's such a minute amount in the body that it's almost negligible. But what they're doing is they're blowing it up and then they're counting it. And then anybody who actually has multiple tests, it's being counted multiple times. They're not turning around and saying, oh, this person's had a test before and it's negative, or that they had a test before and it's positive, and then we test them 2 weeks later, it's still positive. It goes into the numbers. It actually goes into the numbers. So if you go down and have multiple tests over time to see if you've managed to get rid of it, you're just adding to the numbers. And I refuse to get tested because of that, because I am not going to add to the misery that is coming. I refuse to do that too. North Carolina Hawkins says, geez, I wanted to dig gold in Canada one day. Oh, well, do you know what? I want to go Canada because I want to go up into the mountains and I want to sit there and see if the Sasquatch stuff, if they would ever show themselves to someone who's awakened. I think that would be interesting. Stay home, drink wine. Do you know what? I actually pay. I'm called an angel, right? So I'm a wine angel. Naked Wines. I think it's Naked Wines. So basically, what I do is I pay them £20 a month, and what it does is it goes out to all these different winemakers, and it helps to support them because they don't manage to get their wine into places like Freshers or the local supermarkets or anything like that. And then what I do is once a year, I build that up over, so £240 over the year. And then once a year, I go and get a big, whatever I can get in a case of wine. Naked Wines, their wines are amazing. Amazing. So it's the sort of wine that you would pay probably about 30, 40, maybe £50 for a bottle. And because you're buying it direct from them, you're getting it for like £8.99, £10.99, something like that. And they're beautiful wines. Lady Enigma says, yeah, I can't breathe with mask on. I feel nauseous every time I put it on. Go to your doctor. Or tell people you've got asthma. Hey, Kung Fu Tuber. Farshad says, happy to be here. Just finished my workout at the gym and listening. Oh, bless you. Yeah, I did Pilates earlier. And then I went and jumped in. I did the Pilates for 45 minutes. I went and jumped in the jacuzzi for 2 hours. It's great. Love it. Darcy B says, I'm in hospital tomorrow. They told me I have to wear a mask. Said everyone has to wear one. I lost it with her, and she quickly changed her mind, told me I don't have to now. Good for you. Yeah, I've finally got my my hospital appointment in on Saturday, 9:45, and he turned and said, oh, you know, just download the app, show the pictures of, because I've got growth on my leg, show the pictures of that and send that in before you come, and then basically just remember to bring your mask with you. I said, well, what if I'm exempt? And he said, have you got a lanyard? And I went, no, but I have downloaded something to my phone that I can show. He said, yeah, that's fine. All I downloaded was from the Asthma UK Society website that said I'm exempt from wearing a mask. That's all it is. It's just a picture saying I'm exempt from wearing a mask. Anyone could download it because the doctors won't give any letters or anything like that. So I said, yeah, I can't wear a mask. And he said, yeah, no, that's fine. So I'm going into hospital on Saturday, not wearing a mask. Farshad says, do love what you have to say as always. Oh, bless you. My ventilator is homegrown CBD inhalers. Ah, oh, yes. Well, if you're on CBD, then you should never, ever, 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 ever get ill. Roll up and inhale. Mask knee antibodies. There definitely is such a thing as too clean, Meghan Markle. Honestly, it's really ridiculous. Charlie Ward tested a watermelon and it came back positive. Do you know what? See, hairy man. I've been out with a few of them. I actually turned around and said, because they're talking about having posting out, having testing that they can post out to you and test it and send it back. And I just put on there, everyone, test a potato or a piece of fruit and then send it back and see what it says. Because there's people that are being contacted to say that they are positive when they never actually took a test. All they did was register for it. It got sent through to them, or they registered and then didn't wait in the line or whatever it was. And they're being contacted and your test has come back positive. I never had a test. Yeah, no, we've got the results right here. No, I never had a test. No, sorry, we've got the test results. Right? So these people are on the phone saying, yeah, you're positive, you've tested positive. And the person's there saying, how can I be positive? You haven't actually got a result for me. I've never sent it in. I've never actually done it. Oh, but we've got your name. Yeah, well, you might have my name, but I'm telling you, I have not got it. And you have not got a test from me. And that's what they're doing. They are literally going around these. This is, again, the reason why I won't get tested. Apart from the fact that they put it all the way up into the top of your nose and take it from the cavity that's behind your nose on the edge of your brain, which I find is ridiculous. If they're that worried about the fact that you can spread it respiratorily, then all they have to do is swab your mouth, don't they? If you can pass it on through breathing and sneezing, then it's in your mouth. So why can't they swab your mouth? They do it with everything else. I'm not going to have anybody stick nothing up my nose. That sounds really bad. Anyway, but yeah, that I just question everything. There was a woman in the gym today, and I'm wearing my QAnon top, and she went, "Oh, you're a QAnoner, are you?" Yeah, I'm proud. And she said, "Well, what makes you like what they say?" I said, "They don't say anything. What they do is they drop little hints, and then you go off and do your research. They're truthers, right? They don't tell you what to think. They don't tell you what to do. Not like the left do, right? What they do is they give you a little piece of information, say, go find yourself, go make your own mind up." Because that's what they do. They're trying to get people to think for themselves. Not like the loony left, though, because she was a loony left. And I said, older lady. And basically she was like, well, you know, I just don't think that people should believe what they say. And I said, but they don't say anything. All they do is they give you a hint on something. I said it was the QAnoners, the people who were following some of these little breadcrumbs that turned up on the child trafficking, and that turned out to be real, right? Child trafficking is real, but they were trying to say that it was a big conspiracy theory before. You know, Pizzagate, that's real. And she went, well, how do you know it is? How do you know for certain it is? I went, because it's referred to in the Clinton emails that got released. She went, well, how do you know that they're real? I went, well, she's desperately trying to, she killed the person who released it. And she went, well, how do you know that's true? And I went, listen, you literally have to trust where you're going on these things, and you can't see everything with your own eyes. It's not possible. Otherwise, you're going to have a very small world where you just believe what you see. And I don't want to live in that world. I'm not that. I want to explore and research and see everything. I can't go anywhere, right? Especially if they bring in these passports that if you don't get the vaccine, you can't travel. I'm not going to be traveling then. Happy days, you know. I'll checkmate. Next. But yeah, it's and you've got and she's obviously indoctrinated. And she says, "Oh well, you know, I've fallen out with my friends in America because they say that Donald Trump is the chosen one and he speaks in code." I went, "What makes you think he doesn't? Does some of the stuff not actually make sense? Do you think he's a moron? You know, how does a moron become the president? Oh, well, he's narcissistic." I went, "Really? Is he? How's he narcissistic? He's got the ultimate power at his fingertips. Ultimate power at his fingertips. Is he using it? No, not at all." Devin Steve says, "Hi, Boo. I had the test a fortnight ago. It really isn't that bad. I expected it to go all the way up to the brain. Nah. Also, the throat is just at the back of the tongue. Took about 3 seconds. Yeah, they can take it out of my mouth. They're just not taking it through my nose. I'm not having it." Mega Markler says, "I found that a bit of scotch helps me from getting sick. Do you know what? I think, you know, the more alcohol you could have in your blood. So if you're like, I don't know, 20% proof, maybe. It's what you do. If you're going to have, if you've got a cut or anything like that, and you pour the alcohol over it, then it helps to disinfect it. So, you know, disinfecting from the inside." North Carolina says, "I make homemade muscadine wine." Ooh, that sounds nice. Maybe one of these days when this stupidness is over and we can actually travel and our crypto comes in and traveling won't be an issue because we'll be able to afford it, I'm going to be doing, because I like to organise meets around the country. Well, I'm going to organise some meets in different various places in the world. So I'm going to do like a tour of America and just have different meets in different places in America and just say, right, I'm going to this place here on this day, or for 3 days or whatever it is. I'll be at this hotel, meet you there. Anybody turns up, happy days. XR people in. You're right, honey. And it's, you know, and that's what I want to do. I just want to get around, literally just let people know where I'm going to be, have people turn up. And it's, you know, some of these places are going to be in America. Got to do Liechtenstein, obviously. Bahamas, it's got to be one. Some of the you know, Bora Bora, that needs to be one. We need to go to oh, where else is crypto friendly? Malta. So it's one of those things that I will literally, and it will just be a case of, well, I'm going to be there. Happy days. If you turn up, you turn up, and if you don't, you don't. Come on down. It's all right. We'll go for a bit of a hot one now. But yeah, that's probably not going to be for. Well, I can actually see this stuff going on for at least another year. To be honest, balls playing with fighting with technology that doesn't want to play. Yeah, I mean, I looked at a lot of things, and I'm not seeing that we've quite won how we're supposed to be winning. I actually don't think that this is a slam dunk yet. I think there's still an awful lot of things that need to be ironed out. Who was I speaking to? I was speaking to somebody, and they were basically talking about something that was going on, and they basically turned around and said, if we were in control, then this wouldn't be happening. Oh, the weather stuff. You know, the threat on the weather, the fact that Hurricane Laura wasn't a natural event. And he basically turned around and said, if the white hats were in charge and they've won, then they would be in charge of the weather. Why on earth would they allow a hurricane to go and destroy the crops? So either they're allowing it to happen, or they haven't got complete control. If they don't have complete control, it's not a slam dunk. It's not a slam dunk. Same way with at the moment with the the new financial system. We've got a situation where we're being told that it's in, but nobody's talking about it. And then you've got, you've got some loans that are being forgiven, but not all of them at the moment over in America. And then you've got so much speculation going on about how things are badly. You know, the Portland rioters and all that sort of stuff. Wouldn't he have put a stop to it already and stopped people being killed? And I know that Trump's hanging on till next time. He's got a lot on at the moment, but if he's won, if he's literally taken out the enemy, the elites, and got to the stage where it's done, which is what they're telling us, then why is there still misery going on? You know, we're being prepared for a food shortage next year. Why? We don't need a food shortage. And I know that I'm saying to everyone, prepare for it, because obviously we need to. You need to prepare for everything on a just in case job. But I mean, they're letting people out of prison that are going to kill you, right? And we just had, I think it was today or yesterday, somebody turned around and said that they've let all the mafia people out of prison in Italy. And some of them are really, really nasty people. So if the government has signed up to all of this and Trump's actually got his way, then why is the Italian government letting people out of prison that still got 30 years left to run, right? So if they've got 30 years left to run, then they shouldn't be allowed out. So you've got people who are druggies and things like that, and they're not being let out, but the people that are quite capable of killing you, they've let them out. And I don't understand why. It makes no sense to me, especially if they're on board. So if they're on board, they know that the Vatican is empty. It makes me question everything now. You know, you've got stuff going on that shouldn't be going on. I mean, I understand that the Democrats are letting people out of prisons in America. So as soon as they're let out, why isn't there an FBI agent rearresting them and putting them somewhere else? Right? If they're not due to be let out and shouldn't be let out, why are they not being picked up? Why are they able to be out and ultimately, you know, hurting people? I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't think it's quite as cut and dried as what we are being led to believe. And yeah, it does make me question everything, because now I'm sitting there thinking, well, you know, how much of it? Steve Coombs in the house. Went for a walking test on Monday, 11 o'clock. Got the test this morning, say I'm negative. Happy days, no COVID here. Absolutely. I want to actually have had it. I want to have a test to see if I've had it. Because I think I've had it already. And I don't think that you can get it again. See, there's a lot of people that get it that don't realise they've had it. And I think I'm one of those people, because I'm not a doctor, right? But my take on this is, you've got SARS, MERS and COVID. They're all part of the same thing. They're all part of the same strain. So if you've had SARS, can you get MERS and COVID? Or do you just get like a limited symptoms, or maybe no symptoms at all because your body has already been immunized against it? Because that's where I think I am. I had SARS and I very nearly died of it. But I was that ill and I've never had anything before or since. I get chest infections, don't get me wrong. I get colds, chest infections. You know, I'll even say my cold feels like a flu, but it's not. Once you've actually had the flu and you know what a flu feels like, next step, see if I have the antibodies. Yeah, absolutely. But that's the thing. I literally think that if you've had flu once and it didn't kill you, then you won't ever get anything like it ever again. Calculon, every experiment has hardships, love. Yeah. Stephen Coombs says, next step then is moon. Yay! We're all waiting for the moon. Devon Steve, last December, Mrs. Devon and I couldn't move for 4 to 5 days, knackered, just making cups of tea. Mrs. couldn't get her breath for 2 days. Do you know what, Devon? I actually agree with you there. I had something, oh God, was it February? Something February. I think it was February. In fact, no, it was March, just before lockdown. And I literally could not get out of bed. I was so tired. And I was running a raging temperature, but I didn't get a cough. I didn't have any. I had cravings for garlic because I couldn't taste anything, right? It's really weird. Garlic and Marmite, not together though. And because they're really strong tastes, and I just couldn't taste anything. And I honestly believe I had a touch of it, but I don't get it because I've already had flu. And I honestly believe I have never met anybody who's had proper flu more than once, ever. And I've asked loads of people. And I literally, I mean, I've spoken to people and they've told me said that they've had the equivalent of what feels like COVID, and the woman's got it, and the man's sleeping in the bed by the side of her, and he hasn't caught it, right? So if he doesn't catch it, it's not highly infectious. Rising Greens in the house. Good evening all. How are we, boo-boo? Candles, lovely, light them up. What them ones? At the back there. Flames. Capulon says, took the flu shot when I was in the Navy, damn near died in the middle of the ocean. Muscle and bones were no good to me, lost 12 pounds. Yeah, that's proper flu. I've said this many times. The only reason I know that I actually had it was for 2 weeks. I had it over Christmas. And for 2 weeks, I couldn't get out of bed. It took me from here to the end of the conservatory, was from my bedroom to the kitchen on the flat I was living in. I was on my own. And I literally could not, even on my hands and knees, couldn't walk, couldn't stand up, couldn't even go on my hands and knees. I was doing a crawl on the floor, on the carpet. I had to crawl to get to the kitchen, to pull myself up to get a glass of water, or bottle of water, out the tap, to go back. And it took me something like 2 hours to get a glass of water or a bottle of water from the kitchen back to my bedroom. And my sister walked in because she hadn't heard from me, because it was before mobile phones. And my sister walked in because she had a key to the place. And she literally took one look at me and she went, flipping heck. So she physically lifted me up, got me into a bath, changed my bed for me. And literally just got me to a stage where because I felt like I was dying. I literally thought I was going to die. I was that bad. And that is a flu. And the flu shot is injecting yourself with the flu. And then they're expecting your antibodies. Do you know what? Who was it I was listening to? I think it was Robert Kennedy Jr. And he basically turned around and said, when you have a flu shot, they inject you with the flu, which means you're probably going to get it anyway. But you're supposed to build up antibodies to it. But for the 2 weeks afterwards, literally the 2 weeks after you have the shot, you are contagious for that flu. And it's a way of spreading it. And you're not telling me in a million years that if they inject you for it, they don't put you in quarantine after you've had the injection, right? So what are they going to do with this COVID thing? They're going to inject you with the COVID and tell you to go home and sit at home for 2 weeks? No. You're going to go out and you're going to spread it around to every other bugger that's anywhere near you, because you're highly contagious at that point. Because that is the nature of the vaccination. Crypto Jocelyn's in the house. What's up, good hodlers? Missed it all. Oh, you haven't missed much. I didn't actually have much to talk about. I know that we've hit an hour now, so I'm going to call it quits in a minute. But Devon Steve says, I joined as tribals were coming back from Iceland all battered and bruised. Happy days. Rising Green says, COVID is clearly bollocks. The manufactured viruses are all a threat, all of them, but nothing new by any means. Hot tip, don't eat mercury. It's not healthy. Drinking chlorine is a bad idea. Yeah, don't eat mercury. And don't drink chlorine. Yeah, well, if I go swimming, I always end up drinking lots of chlorine. But I think that it's and they say it's with conspiracy theories, but I think it literally is a massive conspiracy of pharmaceuticals, because they run the world at the moment. You've got big pharma and you've got the big banks, right? So the big pharma are on their death throes, because if Trump brings out the 6,000 patents that he's supposed to bring out, one of them is the medbed. He brings out the medbed, all over for pharma. Done deal, dead. No point. Because, of course. But yeah, and then on the other side, you've got the banks. Well, the new financial system is going to put pay to the banks, and they're not going to be able to run on their money laundering, which is what they do. I actually heard, huge, they're all in bed with each other. Yeah, I know. I actually heard, now it depends on what you believe, and I'm not sure whether I do, but it sort of makes sense. Do you remember when I said about they sell your birth certificate? So they monetize your birth certificate when you're born, because they own you. So then what they can do is they can go into the stock market, and they can trade your the money that they borrow against your birth certificate. So basically, from the time that you're born, they're trading money that should be yours but isn't. And then what they do is they make money themselves by trading your birth certificate. So you're chattel to them. And then someone pointed out and said, so when you go down to the banks and you have to go cap in hand to a bank to borrow money and pay interest on it, they're doubling up on their money. So what they're doing is they're making you pay, probably over the course of the length of time of the mortgage, you're paying back maybe 3 times what you're borrowing. They're trading what they believe you're paying taxes. Yeah, absolutely. But that's your money, right? So you're by the time you actually get to retirement, your plan could be worth, your birth certificate could be worth millions. And then they pay you a pittance, 160, 130 pound a week, old age pension, and yet they're sitting on millions. But basically, you've got a situation where by the time you're actually ready to go for a mortgage, your birth certificate money is worth humongous amounts, but they're going to make you take out a loan, pay interest on that loan, so give you money that they haven't got, charge you interest on it, so they get 3 times the value back over the course of time, when you could have just paid it off with the money that is against your name anyway. And I'm like, whoa. So what a diabolical system that they've got. Absolutely diabolical. And that's why the banks have to go. The banks need to be changed, put out of business personally. I think that Justin says we won't get an old age pension. It will stop at the time we can claim if we live that long. Yeah, well, the thing is, when I started working, my retirement age was 60. Now it's 67 or 68, right? So, and the earliest I could retire was 50. I've always said that I wanted to retire at 50. 51. But basically, yeah, now the earliest you can retire and take your pension is 55. And I'm like, wow, okay. So women, you know, that apart from the fact that it's moved for early retirement, it's moved from 50 to 55 for men. Men only moved from 60 to 67. Women went from 60 to men only went from 65 to 67, 2 years extra. But women have gone from 60 to 67, and some of them is 68. And the youngsters coming in now, they're looking at 70 easily. They want you to work until you die, because you're part of the machine. You're just part of the machine. I am so happy that I'm out of the sausage machine. Steve Coombs says pension has probably lost 20% in the last 12 months, and it will take 10 years to claim that back. 2% a year if you're lucky. Actually, Stephen, what do we know? What asset class do we know exists that has some stupendous growth that we can look forward to? And that if we play our cards right, we can't at the moment, but at some point in the near future, we're going to be able to put our pensions into cryptocurrency. So 2%, maybe a day, you know, play it right. Get your money over into Hargreaves Lansdown or something like that. XRP, baby, absolutely. The moment that we're able to put our pensions into cryptocurrency, I am there. That's why I've got my money in Hargreaves Lansdown waiting for it. And literally as soon as because what they'll do is they'll do mixed funds. So you'll have I doubt whether they will actually bring out funds that you can directly invest into individual cryptos. I doubt that. I don't think that would be allowed. But what they will do is they'll bring out a fund, and then a percentage of that fund will be invested in crypto, right? There's a BTC Euro tracker on Hargreaves Lansdown. Is there really? Oh, guess what I'm doing tomorrow? Devon Steve says, when the old age pensions came in, the reason for the age difference was because on average, most couples, the bloke is 4 to 5 years older than the woman. So they didn't retire at the same age, but at the same time. Yeah, but women also live longer than men. So it was always a squiffy system anyway, because the woman, they on average will live 4 years more than a man. Mortality wise, the women live longer, and that's basically because you guys, you don't fucking go to the doctors, do you? I mean, you just carry on until you're on your deathbed and then go, oh, maybe I should have gone to the doctor sooner. And you just don't, whereas women will go and get it sorted. Kung Fu Tuber, inflation will bring that pension down to a fraction anyway. Even if you did get it, I'm better off saving bottle caps. Own savings is the way to go. Own assets. Absolutely. Well, Kung Fu Tuber, we are all we're in the 1% of the 1% for a start. People are just waking up to the fact that there's this thing called cryptocurrency out there, that previously they thought was something that was a complete con, you know, scam. I thought BTC was a scam 10 years ago. God, am I kicking myself now? But anyway, did you see Starling Bank this week? Accounts will accept crypto. I don't know Starling Bank. Hence, it was important to spend time together. Yes, Devon Steve, I get it. I do. But the thing is, they're not going to allow people to, I mean, with what they've done, destroying the family. I mean, how many families stay together? I know you and Mrs. Devon, but you're in the minority. There's not a lot of people who actually stay together for their whole lives. So many people just walk away from relationships so easily. That's another matter. I think the expectations. I mean, how many kids aren't getting married nowadays? It's you know, how many kids how many kids don't even know whether they're male or female nowadays? But that's a whole new fucking cookie jar to put your hand into. But it's Starling Bank is a UK bank. Looks like I'm going to have to open an account as well. But we all know it's coming. We all know. I mean, I've only been in the scene for 2 years, and I've done some diabolical things. I've made some really fucking huge mistakes. But we're just together to prove everyone wrong. They thought we'd be split up after a year. What is this crypto of which you speak? Oh, Darren, behave yourself. Yeah, I'm 700 AMPL lighter. But I'm not even going to go into it. I went into it at the beginning of this. I'm just very unhappy at the moment. But hey ho, such is life. Yeah, but the crypto is two things crypto is going to do. It's going to make us fucking rich, right? So just saying. If we play our cards right and we're in the right investments, and we can hold as much as we need to. Stop it. Stop it. Go away, Darren. Not talking about Ample. I've lost my Ample. I'm not talking about it. Anyway, so, but the thing is, we're in the Wild West at the moment. So we all know it's going to go somewhere. We just don't know when. We all know the perspectives that it's going to bring to it. We all know that cryptocurrency is going to be part of the quantum financial system. We just don't know which ones it's going to be. However, we do know that rising tides raise all boats. So basically, all we've got to do is be careful about the ones that we're in and try not to be too DeFi, in and out. Don't stay in it. Because every time they have a new fad, somebody gets hurt, gets left holding the baby. New bank Ziglu, a new bank not fully up and running with crypto yet. One of the managers from Barclays is running it, London based. Oh, another one. But yeah, but we all know. And the thing is, all we have to do is sit tight. That's all we have to do. Sit tight and just enjoy it. I don't even check my portfolio every day anymore. For me, it's just a case of, do you know what? I know it's down. I don't care, because I know that at some point it's going to come back. Kung Fu Tuber says, I was in the 1% a few years ago with something called silver, but soon after with something called crypto. Absolutely. Barclay, I think I know that name. I started my own 6-year semi-retirement plan about halfway through it. My manager laughed at me when I started. Can't wait till Moon. Do you know what? I was sitting there last night. I had a phone call from one of my old employers, and she offered me to go back, and I loved working for her. Lindsay Loxley is her name. She's an amazing person, but it's in Essex, and she wanted me to go back full time, and I'm not. I'm committed to doing this university thing. And she went, oh, but is there nothing I can do to entice you? And I went, no, I'm actually really looking forward to doing the university. And she went, well, can I interest you in a few hours a week then? Because I know that if I ask you to do something, that it's going to get done. And I just sat there and thought, oh, and you know what? Manifestation is a wonderful thing. So I've been sitting there thinking that I have to sell some of my crypto in order to get through university until we get Moon time. No. So him up there was listening to me about being really sad that I have to sell some down, and he's put something in front of me that basically turns around and says, you are going to be able to earn some money and get yourself through university without selling down your coins. So I was absolutely ecstatic last night. Hence the reason why I was also really happy to have a bottle of wine, and was celebrating some. But what it's done is it's taken off the pressure that I was feeling that I would have to, because I don't know which ones to sell. Which ones do you sell? You look at all the different ones that you've got. I mean, forget the fact that they're down at the moment, but even when they were up, I was looking at them going, do you know what? I could take some money out of this, but I don't want to. I don't want it. I've got not a pot to piss in, but I don't want to. I don't want to sell my coins yet. I want to wait until they go up more. But I was looking at things like Ultra. Ultra's up like 200, 300%. And iExec RLC at one point was 500% up. And I'm like, oh, I could really sell some of that and be really happy that I'm taking out some of the profits. And I could go down and get myself, because I need to buy myself a Mac, right? A Mac laptop. And I'm like, oh, I could just go and spend a couple of grand on that. And then I think, I've got to take a couple of grand out of crypto. I don't want to do that. So guess what? He brought down to me and gave me options. So happy, boo-boo, really. Crypto, I will open that link in a new window. So I will go and have a look at that in a little bit. Rising Green says, Kung Fu Tuber, I plan to stay in my job until I reach my goal, just to hand in my notice with a smile. Do you know what? I'm probably pretty sure that my bosses that I just left, they're not now watching my YouTube channel. But I sat there the other night and I thought, do you know what? Everything that I said is coming in. Everything that they sacked me for, right? The fact that I said about the recession depression, the fact that crypto was coming in, that there was a new reset coming in for the financials, everything I said. And he said, oh, it just sounds too wild. It sounds like you've got inside information, and I'm not sure we want to be associated with that. And I just sat and thought, and I said to my sister last night, do you know what? When it comes down to it, and when all this comes in, they're going to have to hire themselves someone who knows something about crypto in order to be current in financial services. And they had me for stupid amounts of money per year. And they're going to have to pay someone shitloads of money to go and do the job, to be able to do the job and understand it and be able to help them understand it. And I just smiled. I absolutely just smiled, because it's inevitable. And that's the word that was my buzzword last night going to bed. It's inevitable. Cryptocurrency is inevitable. And that means that all we have to do is sit and wait. It is coming. There's no two ways about it. It has to. Calculon says, when Moon looking into oil field companies and start a trade scholarship fund? Won't need oil field companies. If that's to do with oil, as soon as these Tesla patents come out, won't need oil ever again. Just change your cars over to unlimited energy battery. They're out there. My brother's got the he's got a template, diagram, whatever it is, recipe, menu, whatever, and basically to make, and you can make it with pennies. It's like a paint tin and a copper coil and a magnet. And what you can do is got to make it properly, but you can actually do it so that it will power something like a kettle. And then you think about what if you made it bigger, or if you made it better, and if you had more than one of them, or whatever it is, right? You can have free energy, because once that's spooled up, once it starts to move, use electricity to get it to move, and then once it's started to move, and once it's up to a certain point, you don't ever have to use electricity again. It will create its own electricity. Devin Steve says, I don't have any funds to put in, but new cars won't be battery. Fuel cell like Apollo using hydrogen, blue gas, better than petrol, only water is waste. Absolutely. Tesla will be like BTC first, but old tech, 5 years max. Coca-Cola replacing 800 wagons with fuel cell. Okay. And they got some huge wagons. So that's because the problem that we got is again, listening to somebody today. Oh yeah, sitting in the jacuzzi, listening to people talk, and the guy turned around and said, you know, China had it right because 60% of their cars are battery powered, they're electric, and then what they've done is people like Tesla sell to China. So what they've done is they've got the corner of the market. So I think it's only 1% of the market's actually in Europe. And but what they've done is they've taken away the need for big cars, because the bigger the car, the heavier it is, the less it works. Because they haven't got the technology at the moment to run on the battery power. So if there's this fuel cell, blue gas, hydrogen, blue gas, and it will run a truck, then you can have your what we call the petrol guzzlers back. So it brings a little bit more class back into electric cars, because I fucking hate the look of the cars that you've got at the moment. Kung Fu, keep at it. I'm working as hard as I can whilst we transcend 1,000 times on all I earn, as long as I curb my enthusiasm for... Fuck off. I'm not saying it. Go away. Devon Steve says, takes 5 minutes to fill the tank, not 5 hours to charge. Brilliant. China, I think, have diverted 1.2 billion to fuel cell technology. So, yeah, that was for Darren, by the way. Yeah, I think they've seen where the market's going, literally, and then they've got the corner of it, because what they've done is they've gone and bought all of the minerals. So they're actually selling the stuff that you need to make the electric cars. They've got the market on it. So so yeah, they were very smart in what they were doing. They're just not so smart with the rest of it. But yeah, I'm just, all we need to do is wait. It's all coming. It's all coming. Right, guys, 1 hour 22 minutes. I think I've procrastinated enough. I said I was going to do an hour, and I've done just over. So I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, because I didn't have that much to talk about. I've sort of eked it out, made it really boring now. So 13 people left in the room, 18 thumbs up, which is amazing. Thank you very much. And I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, be positive, hodl. Oh, for God's sake, Steve. I'm waiting for CFC to get back above 0.002-ish, hopefully this weekend, to get double bubble on my XRP so I can stash a few in the wallet with an Ether link ready for my Spark. Okay. I haven't linked my my Nano yet. Good work, Boo. Thanks for being you. Yeah. You're just waiting to send me a text message now that says ample, aren't you? Right. Enjoy. It's Friday night tomorrow night. I will possibly come. I'll see how much research I can do and find a topic and talk about it. If I have nothing to talk about, I won't come on tomorrow night. But keep an eye out for the notifications, and we'll see. Okay? All right. Bugger off, Darren. Right. See you later. Bye. Ta-da.